Okay, so today we're going to try something a little different. We're going to do a deep dive into just one single source.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be a song,
Okay.
but it's pretty intense.
All right. I'm ready.
So the song is Born Alone, Die Alone
Okay.
by a Canadian rapper named Snak the Ripper.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with this song?
I am. I've definitely listened to it a few times getting ready for this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a pretty distinct style.
Yeah, and it's hip hop.
Right.
So, hip hop is known for
Being really honest.
yeah, honesty, raw lyrics, and sometimes social commentary and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But this particular song, I think, offers a really
very
unique window into the mind of the artist, in this case, Snak the Ripper.
Yeah.
So I think this deep dive is going to be, less about trying to understand the
like technicalities.
yeah, like the structure of the song and the rhyme schemes and the beat and all that stuff, although those things are all important, but more about what is this guy trying to tell us?
Yeah.
What kind of emotions are we looking at here? What kind of experiences?
For sure, like getting into his headspace a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, to start off, the phrase born alone, die alone is
the title.
It's in the title.
And it's repeated.
And it's in the lyrics over and over again.
Sure,
it's like a
mantra.
Yeah, it's like a mantra. When you first hear that, what's your initial reaction?
Well, I think there's, like you said, it's intense.
Yeah.
Like there's this sense of just stark isolation and like almost a nihilistic outlook on life. Like we come into this world alone, we leave alone, and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah, there's definitely a bleakness to it.
Yeah, there is a bleakness. It's kind of
a little hopeless almost.
Yeah, it's kind of hopeless. And it's interesting because he also has lines like, I built a wall around my heart, no entry, just depart. It's not just that he's like experiencing isolation. He's actively trying to
push people away.
Push people away.
It's very intentional.
Very intentional.
Isolation, which is really interesting.
And then he goes on to say, like, I don't need nobody else around. I'm totally content.
Yeah, the independence thing.
Yeah, but then he talks about seeking validation constantly. And so is that
a contradiction?
Is that a contradiction? Is this guy actually content being alone, or is there something deeper there?
I think there's definitely something deeper there. I think that the need for validation that he talks about, it kind of betrays like a vulnerability. Like he's putting on this front, like he doesn't need anybody, he's tough.
Right.
But at the same time, he really does want people to see him and acknowledge him. And so I think that's where you see that contradiction.
Right, yeah. It's like he's built up these big, huge walls to keep everybody out.
Right, yeah, like a fortress. But he's kind of left that drawbridge down just a little bit. Just enough to, to let people in if they want to. Interesting.
And then I think it's also interesting that he talks about, my mental health is unpredictable and sicker than most.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy line.
Yeah, it's a heavy line. It kind of makes you wonder, is that part of the reason why he's so isolated? And, I think in hip-hop in particular, you often see artists addressing mental health issues.
Yeah, it's a big theme in hip-hop.
And societal issues.
And they're not afraid to talk about it, which I think is really important.
Yeah. So it's interesting that he does bring that up very specifically.
Very directly.
And then, he goes on to talk about, hitting the slopes.
Substance abuse, yeah.
Yeah, and, consuming drugs to the point where his motor skills are messed up.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so we're seeing that there is some potential substance abuse here as a way to cope with.
As a coping mechanism.
These mental health challenges.
Yeah. Right, which we see a lot, unfortunately. Drugs and alcohol can be a way to numb the pain.
Yeah.
But it ultimately leads to more problems in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a vicious cycle.
It really is.
But, even with all of this darkness and bleakness, he has lines like, I've been to hell and back, and it's a miracle I'm sober still.
Oh, right.
Which is very powerful. And, trying to find the light and trying to make it right and trying to change my life. What do you make of these lines?
I think those lines are so important because they show that, like, he's not completely lost in the darkness.
Right.
Like, there's still a part of him that wants something better, a part of him that sees that he's in these destructive patterns and, wants to break free.
Wants to change.
Wants to change, exactly.
So it's interesting that there is this kind of, like, glimmer of hope.
Yeah, that flicker of hope.
Yeah. Even with all of this.
It's a battle.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle. He even says that.
He does say that. And then there's all this dark humor, like lines like, your mom's smiling at you with my pubes stuck in the teeth.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty out there.
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it's aggressive. And, why do you think why is he doing that? What's the purpose of that?
I think it's a defense mechanism.
Okay.
Dark humor can be a way to deflect pain. It can be a way to, project a tough image.
Right.
And ultimately, it's a way to keep people at arm's length.
Yeah.
Because, if you can make people laugh, but also make them a little uncomfortable at the same time, it's a way of like, you can't get close to me, you can't hurt me.
Right. Yeah. It's like if I hurt you first.
Yeah, if I hurt you first. So it's a lot to unpack here. Like, what are we learning about this guy?
I think we're seeing someone who is clearly in a lot of pain. He's struggling with mental health issues, potentially substance abuse. He's built up these walls around himself to keep people out.
But at the same time, there's this tiny little part of him that's like, help me.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so compelling, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's like, you want to reach in there and help him?
Yeah, you want to break down those walls. But it's like,
but you don't know if you can.
He's not going to let you.
Right.
So, we started this deep dive by saying, we're looking into the mind of the artist. And I think we've done that,
Definitely.
We've gotten this glimpse of like, okay, here's this guy, Snak the Ripper. He's got this, born alone, die alone kind of philosophy.
Right.
But is that really how he feels? Is that really what he believes? Or is it something...
Or is it deeper?
Deeper, yeah. Is it a cry for help? Is it just a
statement of fact that he's trying to convince himself of?
Yeah.
Or is it something that he's trying to fight against?
Right.
Like, that's the question.
And that's the question for all of us, I think. What does born alone, die alone mean to you?
Yeah. Is it a statement? Is it a fact? Or is it something that you can rebel against?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to leave it today. If anybody out there is interested in learning more about Snak the Ripper, I encourage you to listen to more of his music.
He's got a big catalog.
Yeah, he's got a lot of music out there, and I think, this one song is just
a tiny
glimpse into his artistry, But I think, if you really want to understand him, you've got to
dig deeper.
Dig deeper.
Yeah, listen to more.
Yeah. So that's our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See ya.